That's good.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that was pretty awesome. I want to thank everyone for coming today. My name is John Lasseter, and I'm co-president of Disney Interactive. I'd like to welcome all of our guests today, the members of the press who are here, here to put me away, our D23 members, our distribution, retail, and creative partners, and a big shout out to our Disney cast members, particularly those who've flown in from Salt Lake City and various places, who have worked tirelessly over the last several years to show you what we're going to reveal today. I'd also like to invite thank the global audience that's passed into the webcast in the back. Thank you all for joining. We have a lot to show you all today, and we certainly hope that when we're done, you all will think it was worth the trip. Before we get into the specifics of this announcement, let me simply say that we set out to do something special in gaming, consistent with the pioneering heritage of this great company. We aim to create a new, unexpected, and magical gaming experience for our guests. When most of us think of Disney magic and heritage, we conjure up deeply personal feelings and connections with the places, the characters, and the stories we all know and love. For me, I remember coming downstairs as a child on Sunday evenings, waiting to see that castle come up to reveal the wonderful world of Disney. I really loved that memory. And from that beginning, my relationship with the stories of the Walt Disney Company only grew. Now, through the eyes of my children, I've witnessed the same relationship develop through new experiences, through theater, through cruises, and even the spoils of my daughter's most recent trip to a Disney store. I must say I'm not sure who relishes Disney plush more, daughter Josie or dog Bear. But for generations, the Walt Disney Company has pushed storytelling and creativity like no other company in the world. But now it is our time. It is Disney Interactive's time to meet and even push the bar of innovation, creativity, and technology to tell these very Disney stories. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of why we're here. We are here to announce Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity is a new interactive gaming platform. This product, for the very first time, will bring together the best of Disney's IP, past, present, and future. With Disney Infinity, you'll be able to go into the worlds of your favorite characters. Or you can bring these characters together in a world of your choosing to help them build, and create, and play in any way you can imagine. This is something that has never been done before with this kind of IP until now. Disney Infinity is not just a single game. It is a platform that will grow and diversify and improve with time. This image, this is Disney Infinity. The heart and soul of Disney Infinity is that you can play with your favorite Disney characters without limits. All of these characters together for the first time, ready to play. Now here are some more specifics on Disney Infinity. It will be global, and it will live across all platforms: console, mobile, and online. And it all starts with beautiful figures like these. Let me introduce to you Captain Jack Sparrow. Bring the main man, Mr. Incredible, out. I'm sorry to turn around and show up. You guys gotta look like you're playing together, that's the whole point. These figures unlock distinct, true-to-property worlds where you can rescue, scare, and battle to help these characters complete their missions. Each world has its own gameplay and its own storyline. We call these property worlds playsets. You can also assemble, though, your favorite Disney and Pixar characters into a world where they play together, again, for the very first time. In this world, you can play with existing games or environments that we create, or you can create your very own. We call this magical place the Toy Box. We believe it is this combination of gameplay and characters that will provide unrivaled variety and value to our guests. You are essentially getting many different games in one Infinity platform. These playsets and Toy Box will be full playable experiences for console and online, and there will be accompanying connected mobile experiences at launch, and they too will evolve with time to bring in full Infinity experiences. Today, we are announcing 3 playsets for our June launch, led by these leads right here. Monsters University, The Incredibles, and Pirates of the Caribbean. And there will be additional playsets at launch. As I said, playsets plural. That means, yes, there will be more than one additional playset at launch. And there will be over 20 characters and toys as well at launch. And we will continue to add more characters and more playsets throughout 2013. But again, I really want to emphasize that this is really what the product is all about. Look at this image and imagine what happens when this all comes to life. For example, who would win a race between Lightning McQueen and Dash? You gotta know, right? Who's stronger, Mr. Incredible or Mike Wazowski? Who would win an elephant race between Dumbo with Jockey Mike or Abu with Jockey Woody? Who would win a sword fight between Captain Jack Sparrow and Phineas Flint? We're going to leave all these questions to you, as they are yours to explore. Everyone is going to find their own answers, and in their own way. This is the promise and magic of Disney Infinity. It's up to you to unlock the heart and soul of Infinity in the way you want to. It'll be unique for every guest. This platform, this Disney Infinity, is how we will advance the bar of storytelling and creativity at Disney Interactive by allowing you to play with all your favorite Disney characters without limits. Now I'd like to introduce someone whose fingerprints and imagination are all over this initiative. Please help me welcome to stage Chief Creative Officer of Walt Disney and Pixar Animation Studios, the Principal Creative Advisor of Walt Disney Imagineering, Mr. John Lasseter.
2023. How are you guys? So excited that you're here. I grew up in a family where my mom was an art teacher. And so in our family, creativity was encouraged. And I loved playing. And to me, the playing was extremely creative. So I always say that, true play is creativity. And creativity is play. And it was so exciting at home because in my kind of playing, it became about stories and characters and stuff like that. And then there was this kind of juxtaposition of like the toys that you had and you created things together, It wasn't just you would play exactly with just my G.I. Joes, but then the Lego came into it, and Hot Wheels, and all this stuff. And it just became this fun play, but there's always story and characters kind of involved in that. And it's interesting how that never left me. I mean, and I would get so lost, in the play. And this is where I do believe in the creative brain, where you lose track of time. And my mom would say, okay, your friend has to go home now. I go, we just got started. She said, you've been at it for 2 hours. And we were like, what? And it was so exciting. It's that creative play. And I have 5 sons, and to me it's so important to encourage, that creativity. It is so vitally important. And I bring that to Pixar. I bring that drive of creativity and putting that first and foremost into Disney animation as well. And all the stories that were created, it's so vitally important because quality is the best business plan to me, and it comes from making great product. And great product can only come from if you're really having tremendously talented people and really supporting them creatively. But it's like those people started with, play and being creative at the very beginning. It's so connected. And I got that from my mom, who was an art teacher. And I'm so excited about Disney Infinity. This thing is unbelievable. Now, it's got this awesome history, I first started working with Avalanche. This amazing studio that does computer games and stuff. I mean, more than that, these guys are so creative. And we started working, I first met them when they came and pitched to us at Disney, for Toy Story 3. We had a number of companies come and pitch us with ideas. And these guys came in, and right away I felt like these guys were different, right? Because at first they pitched, okay, half of the game is going to be your typical game where you follow the story and you can do all the stuff. But the other half is, we just want to live. These are toys, and we just want to let kids play. We're like, okay, I'm listening. And it was so much fun to kind of hear this idea that grew out of this, to have this toy box full of toys, and it's like they can do whatever they want and go anywhere and all this stuff and build stuff and change stuff, and it's really completely up to them, to the player, to do this. And I was so excited about this, and we had an amazing time working with these guys. And this idea was a bigger idea than we had ever thought. And so they said, look, we want to expand this. We want to make it so that we can have lots of characters from lots of stories that we've created at Pixar and Disney come together in one place. And I'm going, whoa. The one thing I can't stand is when you take characters from one of our movies, take it out of the story, and pop it into something and pull someone else in there. And I said, Mr. Incredible does not live in the same world as Sully and Mike. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen. And I go, and so we started talking about it and said, but if we were playing with the toys from those movies, and it's just like Andy. In Andy's room, there's a toy box, and it's like full of toys from all different things, and they come together, and he plays with them all in a very creative way. We thought, that's something cool. And so that became the theory of how we started coming up with these characters. And so the design process for these characters, both within the game and these gorgeous little figures. D23, I do want you to notice how cool these are, folks. Even if you're not into video games, baby, you gotta have these. The nerd in me comes out when we're doing reviews on this. I mean, you can see up on the screen this beautiful process of developing the Sully character in the sense of coming up with a design. And we wanted to come up with a stylization that you haven't seen before, that you kind of can see how it's a set of gorgeous, because we're so inspired by the gorgeous vinyl work that's being done in the collector toy market these days. And we thought, let's come up with a sense of stylization that's so appealing, but you can apply that stylization to every single world. And that kind of brings them together, yet you can celebrate the individuality of each of the worlds that they've come with. And I think it's just, these things are fantastic, and how beautiful these are. So, and worked with, Pixar artists, Disney artists, with the Avalanche artists, who we wanted to get it right. We worked with, sculptors and designers and story artists and everybody to get this to look just right. So it's so high quality in the aesthetic, which is really important to me. Again, quality is the best business plan. It is really important. But one of the things to me that's the most exciting about Infinity is the creativity. It goes back to that. Play is creativity, creativity is play. It's amazing what you can do with this. They call this, it's a toy chest that you have all your toys and you can pull out your play sets and you can just do whatever you want. To me, I almost look at it as a tool chest for creativity that we're giving everybody. And what's so staggering about this is not what's happening with it right now, but the potential of what's going to happen in the future when it gets out there in the hands of kids, of adults, of creative people, in just getting lost and creating stuff, and creating stories, and juxtapositions of things that we can't even imagine right now. That's what's so exciting. And I've never seen that before in any game, to this level of quality and aesthetic and beauty and fun. Now, the fun is so important to this, to me, because I love having fun in everything that I do. I mean, look at it, wearing a Wreck-It Ralph Hawaiian shirt. I love having fun in everything we do. We put it in our movies. But now it's in your hands. And the more nutty and the more insane that you can be, let's put Buzz Lightyear's jetpack on Mr. Incredible and then fly him over. And it's just become, now you become a little kid again. And just the fun, let's build the tallest building and knock it down. It's that kind of thing. My little boys, we have wooden blocks, and they love the most the tallest tower I could build, and they would run through it, right? And my wife would just, what are you doing? You're going to get brain damage, And it's just the craziest you can be with it, and that's what this gives you. I've never seen anything quite like this before. It is so exciting, but it's with characters you know and you love. And you can put them all together in a way that is really exciting. So, I'm really looking forward to this getting out in the world and starting to see, things that what people will do with this. Because, people are creative, and it's going to be really fun. And you're going to be able to, one up your friends, and you can take your figure, go over to your friend's house, and show what you're doing. It's going to be really great to share with us and show people and show off what you're doing. It's really fun. But to me, this is one of the most creative things in the interactive world I've ever seen. And I'm so excited to be a part of this. And so excited to really push the aesthetic, the storytelling, the design, the animation is fantastic on the characters. I'm really excited. I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of all the Avalanche guys and everybody at Disney Interactive, this and all the folks I work with I work with at Disney Animation and Pixar, and everybody's been involved in this. It's a true group effort for this. And I'm so excited to bring out my close collaborator, one of the key guys at Avalanche, who's really creative and has been driving force behind this, to tell you more about this. Ladies and gentlemen, John Blackburn.
So it is a huge honor to be out here, especially following John tonight, or I guess this morning now. And I wanted to go through how we actually got here today. So we started off this actually working with John, like he said, on Toy Story 3. So we created a pitch for those guys where we wanted to do this toy box mode. So like John said, the toy box mode was something where we wanted to do something a little bit different with a licensed game. And let you play with Andy's toys any way you wanted to. So when we worked on that game to begin with, we really went back. We actually saw the early reels of the film, I think about 2008. And we were really impressed by this whole idea of imaginative play, that you see Andy playing with his toys in those different ways. And we went back and we looked at the way that our kids actually play. So these are my sons and my cousin right now. And we looked at the way that they play, and as they bring those toys out of that toy box, and they keep changing the story that they're telling depending on which toys they're bringing out. And we kind of went back and thought in our own minds about those epic play sessions that we used to have when we were kids. And every single one of us had different examples of that. We really felt like it was true for all of us, that that was a way that we created stories. And so what we wanted to do when we came up with the next game was to be able to go ahead and blow that out. So we started on a sequel to Toy Story 3, which was actually going to be more about Buzz Lightyear instead of Woody and Jesse's world. And we were working on that, and then John Lasseter joined the company. And when John joined up, he said, what we'd really like to do is just blow this out to be much bigger. We need to think big, we need to think about launching a platform. Not just one game, but something where all of our games can fit into. And so for us, that meant that we had to combine this together with all the different Disney characters. And so we worked with John and his team on creating this idea that we could go back to that same foundational conceit in Toy Story, where all of the toys, even though they're a mishmash of toys, they all work together and it makes sense. So in working that through with the Pixar guys, we then needed to come up with a visual aesthetic to actually make sure that all these toys could work together and be, in John's words, this cool collection that belonged together on my shelf. That's really what we were trying to get to when we designed the aesthetic behind this. So we've got a lot to show here today. That's the genesis of this, but I've got this really cool video that we've got set up to actually show you a little bit of what's possible in this game. got two important concepts to go over here today regarding Infinity. We've got the physical component, which are primarily the figurines that I'll go through. And then we also have the software, and we've got a few different things to go into that with some videos to show. So jumping into those figurines, the primary way you're going to start playing Infinity is you're going to buy the starter pack. In that starter pack is going to come with the 3 different figurines that represent those 3 different franchise games that we're going to have. But then we're also going to have a couple other pieces. We're going to have what we're calling a playset piece, and this is where you actually choose which world you'll go into to have that true to property experience that John was talking about in the play sets. The next thing that we'll then have is we've got this idea of these, we call them power discs. There's 2 different shapes of these. There's round ones, and then there's also these hexagonal ones. These hexagonal ones allow you to actually add extra toys to your toy box. The round ones allow you to give your characters different buffs and different abilities when they're playing as well. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But the primary way that you'll work this is you'll take that figure, you'll put it onto the reader, and then that will actually teleport that character into your game so that you can play with your favorite characters in those experiences. So the next piece that we'll have then is the software side of this. So in the software, there's 2 big components that we'll get into in a bunch of videos here in a second. The play sets, once again, are true to property experiences, and by that we mean that we will not allow you to necessarily, or to take any character that doesn't belong into that world in there. You will never see Mr. Incredible go into Pirates or vice versa. So those ones will all stay true to property for the fans that really want that experience in that world. Then the next piece that we've got is the toy box. Now we do allow everything to come in there. So there's virtual toys in all, so the whole idea behind this is all of these things are virtual toys throughout the entire game. We go ahead and unlock those toys out of the play sets to bring individual toys that are specific to each play set into the toy box so you can match those together and find out all the cool different kind of things that you want to do. And that's where you get into that idea of in the toy box, you're going to be telling your own story there. So we'll dive into these in a little bit more depth right now. So we'll start off with the Incredibles playset. So the Incredibles playset, we worked with the team at Pixar to come up with a little bit of an alternative ending to what might have happened. And this might have been, instead of going and taking Jack Syndrome, just unleashed some more chaos onto Metroville. So we have in each of these playsets, let's go ahead and roll video here, this idea that it should be aspirational to the player who wants to play in there. And for us, that means feeling super heroic in this playset. As the Incredibles, you need to be in different circumstances that only a superhero can solve. So that's got to be dangerous circumstances, but it's also got to be going up against the enemy that you've got. In this case, like I said, that is Syndrome. So we went through, and when we were designing the combat system for this, we knew that we had to have each of the powers that each of the Incredibles had, and that they needed to really be able to show those. So Bob needed to be incredibly strong. Mrs. Incredible has to have her stretchy abilities, and the combat system needed to reflect that. So did the way that they move around the city. So they go along the rooftops, and they can do things that only superheroes can do. Dash is obviously in need of the super speed, so he hits multiple times anytime that he goes up and does a combo. Violet has both her powers as both defensive, but then we took those force fields and worked with guys and made it a little bit more offensive too, so that she's actually a very strong character within the game. So whoever your favorite Incredible is, you're going to be able to play them the way that you want to. Now the other characters that are going to be in this world, you're going to want to interact with all of the mission givers that we have. So we've got Edna Mode, Rick Dicker, and Mirage actually comes along to help you out and to defeat Syndrome in this world. So we created this idea of your superhero headquarters here. Now, back to this idea of play your way, we always want to put a big building element or a nurturing element in every single one of the play sets. So here you get to build out this headquarters, you build these buildings, you get those out of your catalog, you can customize them in any way that you want to, and you can also then play with these buildings. They all have buttons on them, they're all designed as toys to be interactive, so that when you're playing with them, it's actually fun, and you can then take these same toys back into the toy box as well. So we've got this idea of the catalog. Once again, virtual toys in every one of these, to where you'll go ahead and unlock these different toys. You've got 4 cool different gadgets in the Incredibles that you can unlock. You've got the Incredicar, you've got this glide pack that you have, but all of these are true to property experiences here. But then when you take them into the toy box, you can put them onto different characters, and those characters can equip them and play with them in any way you want to. And And that's where we get that cool mashup feel of going through this. So this last bit on this video is just going through and saying all of these games are multiplayer. So we're showing this in split screen mode right here, but all the play sets are. The idea behind this is to allow you to play with your kids or have your kids play with their friends. And this is something that's really important to us, is that in virtual play, we want you to be able to play together as easily as possible. And we won't show those videos on some of the next ones, but they all are multiplayer as well. So to go into then Monsters. So with Monsters, different idea here. Monsters, this is Monsters University, so it's a prequel that will be coming out this summer to Monsters Incorporated. The guys here, this is a buddy film where we find out how Mike and Sully get together to become the greatest scares of Monsters Incorporated. So we worked with the team at Pixar to come up with something that's slightly different from the story of the film, and really blew out this idea that there's a rival school and that both of these schools are having their spirit weeks at the same time. So both schools are trying to outdo each other, and they prank each other back and forth, as well as then try to defend their own home turf. So what you're seeing here is some of the Fear Tech guys who come over to toilet paper your campus. The idea behind this is you've got to protect your campus from them, and then you've actually got to take the battle over to Fear Tech as well. So you'll be going back and forth in between these two places. We've also got all the characters that you would expect to interact with from the film here as characters that show up in here and help you in these quests to be able to defeat Fear Tech. Now, we've got this pranking system here with its college hijinks in mind. So we're setting it up here in Monsters University to primarily do this in Fear Tech. But you get some nice humorous moments out of this because, this game is much more about humor and customization than it is about, say, combat. We've got the idea that you can go customize and build your entire frat row area. You can make those buildings look like whatever you want, so this is an expression of your personalization in this world. That stuff's all cool, but Monsters is really about scaring. So you can scare the students, but you can also use your scare in some unique ways and get things to happen in the Monsters world that are kind of cool and true to that property. So scaring in the day makes a lot of sense, but scaring at night is really where it takes on a whole new meaning. We allow you to control night and day in here, and then get different scare results out of those scares at nighttime. So back to the virtual toys that we'll bring in. Every playset allows you to bring in different virtual toys and gameplay mechanics from each of them. The bicycle mechanic with all the tricks and stunts is one of them from Monsters. We've also got the idea of mounts that we bring in from here. There's a key scene where you've got Archie the Scare Pig that Mike Wazowski rides through the film. Archie breaks a lot of stuff, but we have that same ability. Now this is something we came up with more on our own, which is the toilet paper launcher, which allows you to take the toilet paper and go out to Fear Tech. So we sneak over to Fear Tech at night, they've got security guards out, so we put an entire stealth system into the game so that you can go through, they have perception, they will apprehend you, they'll put you into detention, but the idea behind this is that college hijinks and going back and forth and getting, I guess, the true college experience. So the last one that we'll go into is then Pirates of the Caribbean. So in Pirates, this takes place in the first 3 films, so it'll be against Davy Jones and his crew. And the thought behind this is, once again, it's different from both Monsters and Incredibles. You're really not the hero this time, but it is all about being a pirate and the freedom of the high seas. So we'll go into the video on this. We start off with, a shot of Davy Jones. This is going up against him. We've got a bunch of different enemies that you'll recognize from his crew, but we've also tried to make some new ones. Now, hopefully everybody here will recognize this as this is an actual homage that we made to the ride as well as the movie series. So we really wanted this to feel like this is all things Disney. And we have an ability within Infinity to reach out and touch a lot of the things that are not just in the films, but are also in the theme parks and cruise lines as well. So one of the coolest parts about this is you'll be interacting with, from the film, some of the characters you recognize, like and Getty. They'll help you go through and get Gibbs out of prison so that he can help you. We've added a really cool combat system that now fits in this game as well. It's more about sword fighting here. You've got a flintlock that you can actually use. That's a little bit more in puzzling. But you've got many different enemies that you can combat with. And you've got a bunch of different combos you can use against them. You've also got some other weapons that you can get to upgrade yourself, like these pirate grenades, and those kind of things that you can once again use both in combat and in puzzling throughout the level. But this game is really about your ship. When you think about being a pirate, you really need to get out onto the high seas. We put a lot of technology into these boats so that you can run around on them, you can platform up and down them. But when you get at the helm, you can steer those around. 50% of the game in this is going from island to island and exploring all of these different places that you can go in the Caribbean. But then we really wanted this to be able to, from that building mode perspective, build your ship and make it your pirate ship. This is all about you feeling like your expression of yourself. We have many different ship types, but then we also have all of your crewmen. So you can go through and customize all of your crewmen into different ways so that it really fits your taste and your style. Now, all of this comes down to, that stuff's all cool, but it gets down to business when we start talking about the cannons that you're going to be able to upgrade to. So you really wanted this to feel like a toy, so it still flips over, but we've got a huge battle system that we've got going back and forth in between different ships. We're showing a few different types of the enemy ships right now. They all need to be recognizable from a distance so that you know how you need to equip your ship to go up and deal with each particular threat. Because for a multiplayer game, I can be driving my ship while you can be running around on it and you can be manning these cannons on the deck. I'll be controlling the broadsides, you'll be controlling which specialty cannons we're going to bring to bear. So we've got a real strategic element that we've added in here of you can be on my boat or you can choose to be on your own boat and we can have two of us going up against another pirate ship, and we can choose to go into battle that way. So this is a real, once again, an expression of playing your way is how do you want to do this, and that strategic element is brought into that. So the next piece that we have then is the toy box to go through. The toy box is where we feel like we took that mode that we had in Toy Story 3, and we're able to blow this out into being as big of an experience as we wanted to. Once again, we're going to go back to that concept of as you pull that toy out of the toy box and bring it into the playfield, you are telling the story as you build that. And the more people who are playing with you, you start building that story together. When we say we're doing something new for storytelling, that's where we feel like interactive storytelling at Disney Interactive is really going. So we'll start off the video here. The idea is, in the toy box, everything is editable. This world has all been built in the toy box. But we then do start, as we come back from playsets, we unlock toys. We also have the stars that we've earned that are essentially levels. And then those stars turn into these kind of spins on this toy maker. So if you think about this toy maker, there's many different categories, and it's the type of toys that you want to unlock in here. In this case, it's a vehicle that this person's unlocked. You can then go through and play with that toy, but it goes into your collection. This collection screen is pages and pages wide. There's hundreds of toys that we've got in here. And each one of them allows you to go through. Some of these come from play sets. Most of those come from the toy box itself and are all specific to that. But the idea behind this is let's go see if we can get the biggest toy collection and bring all these things together to create what they want to do. So the next piece of this is the adventures. With the adventures, this is more of the structured gameplay that we have within Infinity. So we've added all of these. There's some tutorial adventures that we have. This is the first one. So we've got this pirate character who has a treasure map, but he can't get to where he's going. So he's going to need you to get him across this chasm and then actually build the Cave of Wonders for him so that he can get into the mouth of this. This is how we go ahead and teach you all of the different steps to build in the game. Once you've done that, you get some upgrades, but you also open up all the other mastery adventures that we have. Now these other mastery adventures are going to teach you how to use the other systems of the game, like driving. We've got drifting and energy gain and big tricks that we have. But then we also go into the different gameplay modes, like we have the physics blocks, because those act differently than a lot of other things in the world, where those toys all work together in a different way. We also have combat that we teach you how to do. Where we've got Mr. Incredible rescuing Snow White here and keeping her safe in her snow globe from these attacking enemies. Once again, you finish those, and you'll now unlock even more adventures. Now, what this is showing is this really cool concept that we have that each of the adventures becomes themed based on who the character is that invited you in. This is the same adventure, but using different characters. And so it makes that theme of the world based on that character's world theme so that you get a different experience every time that you're playing this. The next big mode I'm going to go through is building. So the building within Infinity we've tried to make it as simple as possible, but also as powerful as possible. We want you to be able to build really cool structures and things. Now what you're seeing here is we've got this idea of this magic wand that allows you to select any piece in the world that you've got, You can customize those pieces, you can move them, you can delete them, whatever you want, but there are literally hundreds of pieces that allow you to build this. So we wanted to make this easier so that people can get into it, and we've made this blueprint on it. So this is a really simplistic example here with just these blocks, but the concept can then be extended into much bigger things like racetracks, or islands, or even building out castles if you want to. So we have all of these different examples of then you can start building some truly massive things, like these huge guitars with rail slides on them. We've had guys go through and do things like Starship Enterprise. Now this next one's really cool to me because one of the QA guys went and tried to make Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart. And so you've got this game, he's built the whole track, it runs at frame rate, and you can race that with your friends. So it's cool to be able to build those things in those places. But one of the things that we really wanted to do was allow you to create experiences in here. We needed to give you some interactivity in this world as well. So in the creating experiences, we've got what we're calling the logic editor. Now the logic editor, with a really simple interface of saying, this pressure plate, I can just step on it or step off of it. The next thing I'm going to link it to will actually take that impulse and do that action. So I'm going to step on this pressure plate, it's going to make that elevator go up and down. It's a pretty simple example, but it actually gets into a very powerful system of these tools to where you can link things together and start making much bigger things. We can give you access to some of the different gameplay features that we have, like the gameplay camera being up above, or enemy spawners that we can put in the world, or different wind conditions, like we can put in race gates, and we can make games like from the arcade that we used to have. And each one of those things is only really limited by the creativity that you have and that you want to play with. So, now, one of the things that ends up happening a lot when we're playing in the toy box right now is this free play idea. And what that means to us is it's just going in and taking all of those different toys, mashing them together, and seeing what happens, just finding out what the discovery is on that. We've got a very rich move set in this game to where you can pick up and throw almost anything, but you can also go through and do stuff that you really didn't expect, like interact with the characters in many different ways. You can have things in your hands while you're writing different commands, or you can be on the hoverboard. All of these different things are possible with this. Another cool way to play in this is to use these power discs. You can add new toys into the world by collecting them. So we just dropped in Cinderella's carriage. We've also dropped in Abu the elephant. So by putting these onto that slot, you're going to get more toys. But you can also get what you're showing here, or what we're showing here right now, which is you can customize all the skies, you can customize all the terrain, so that each one of these worlds can feel like you want it to feel. And it comes from your favorite property, so that when you're building this, it is your world and your expression. So once you build all these things, now we really want to share them. So we've got this idea that from an online community standpoint, we will allow you to upload any of these worlds that you've created to Disney. We will then moderate those. Look, we'll actually also run contests like who can build the coolest castle or build us your version of Disneyland. And then we will send those back down to the user community and allow everybody to extend their gameplay sessions with those worlds that have been created by other people. The other way to share in here is through direct online play. It's 4-player network play. It's drop in, drop out, so that you can come in and out of anybody's world at any time. And I can invite you into my world and share that world that I've built as it sits while I'm playing there, and we can share our toys back and forth with each other. So that's pretty much what we've got today. There's a lot of information there. I'm looking forward to having everybody come up and be able to see this for real on stage. But we've got one more video here at the end of this just to wrap this idea up for some of the other cool possibilities that you need to have.
so excited about this because at Pixar, Walt Disney Animation Studio, Disney Toon Studios, the three animation studios that I oversee, I know the amazing stories, new stories and new characters that we're creating. This is now something to look forward to, is to bringing, the future to the Infinity game set as well. So we'll be able to start creating, stuff that from all the future films as well as everything from the past. So this is really exciting for us. And look at the creativity that's here. I mean, this is going to be fantastic. And to me, if there's something we can do, is to promote creativity out there in families' homes, for all ages. Because creativity is the foundation of making a better world. And I think this is really exciting.
I echo everything John said because he says it better than I do. Look, we are deeply proud of this, obviously heavily invested in it, and I think it goes without saying that we want to give a tremendous amount of credit to John, to his many of whom are the leaders are here, but it goes beyond Avalanche too. This truly is an initiative that cuts across every single person who works at Disney Interactive Games, and it goes beyond games. It goes to Pixar, it goes to our colleagues over at Consumer Products, all of our franchise managers around the company, studios, films. It literally touches everybody, and we speaking on behalf of our division, we are just so grateful to the Walt Disney Company and all of its divisions have supported this the way they have. So again,
Actually, if I can jump in there,
this is off script.
This is off script. I really want to thank John particularly for being here today, and also for all the help that he and the guys at Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios have provided to us. This has been such a surreal experience to be able to work with some of the best creative minds in the world and we're able to do some of these things for the first time. So I just want to thank him and give him a round of applause.
That was something I want to thank you all. There's so many people here. You've invested a tremendous amount of time today, and we appreciate that. Many of you have traveled from afar, and we're just grateful that you care enough to come and see the things that we're working on and the things that we're excited about. A few quick housekeeping items now as we start to move to the next phase. I believe D23, we have a reception for you at the Roosevelt Hotel, which you guys can proceed to now. Many of our partners, I believe, if you checked in at the Lowe's Hotel across the street, we have a reception waiting for you over there as soon as this is over. And members of the press, we're going to ask you to stay here right now to get a little bit more of a closer look at Infinity, more up close and personal look at Infinity. But for all of you, let us reveal that this is up and close Infinity.